the 80s, yeah.
Just tell us something about President Trump that most people watching don't know.
President Trump, or Donald J. Trump, has not changed since I've known him. He's been an authentic person, always had just an uncanny ability to have a sense of the pulse of what was happening in New York City, where we both lived. And I've watched him progress. I've known his children as they were young. They went to the same schools. And, just been impressed what a kind of father he is as well.
We see his volatility and his controversial nature and all the rest of it all over the screens all the time. What is it allows him to keep him going? I mean, because there must be something there that we don't see that keeps him.
I think a lot of the issues he talks about now, he's talked about for years. For instance, China. This is not a new subject for him. I think he wants to change it and give the U.S. a fairer place in the world, negotiating better deals rather than getting, having these agreements go on and on and on to the detriment of the U.S.
I think perhaps what we didn't expect this morning is to have the President of the United States not endorsing but offering his warm support to one candidate, in particular Boris Johnson, in this Conservative election. And he says also that lots of other people have been asking for his endorsement as well. Has there been a little queue of people at the back of Winfield House knocking on the door, hoping to get a touch from Donald Trump?
Not that I'm aware at Winfield House, but he has known Boris for a long time. So I think what he's commenting on is just his knowledge of Boris as a person and all the meetings he's had with Boris. Rather than, I don't think he said it's not an endorsement.
Do you think Boris Johnson would be a good Prime Minister?
That's up for you guys to decide. I mean, you're going to have an election now, so we'll see.
Only Tory members, but yeah.
Yeah. Tory members. But I mean, your public is going to have to decide, who the final two are, and then sort it out.
Now, looking at the President's interview today, do you think that we should leave on October the 31st, deal or no deal?
That once again, that's up to you, and we're going to have a great relationship with your country, regardless of what happens. But yeah, I mean, I think from what my traveling around the country indicates, people are ready to go and move on. Even though the economy is doing reasonably well, it could do a lot better once this Brexit is finished.
You've done an interview yourself in the Express in which you say there's an extraordinary trade deal waiting for Britain, a very, very big, generous trade deal waiting for Britain, and President Trump says that could be done very, very fast. So what's the nature of that trade deal, and how quickly could it be done after we leave?
I think the fact that it's on the president's desk day one, the minute you leave, and we can negotiate. We're already negotiating. I mean, we're already looking at the terms and conditions that will allow a successful negotiation. I think it will be done with the president looking at it. It will be done as expeditiously as any agreement we've ever had.
So you're negotiating already. I suppose
I would say not negotiating, probably wrong term. I think we're looking at all the components of the deal and trying to get everything lined up. So when the time comes, we're ready to go.
Now, the president, one thing we do know about him, he's a deal maker. And
Yes.
in any deal, there's give and take. So can I ask you two areas that have worried a lot of British people about this potential deal? One is agriculture, farming, food standards, and so on. Does Britain have to accept American agricultural standards and American food standards in order to get that deal?
No.
No.
But I think there's going to have to be some deal where you give the British people a choice, and American products would come over and be allowed to come over. Agriculture is extremely important to the president and any president, because agriculture in all 50 states, so there's 50 senators. But you give the British people a choice. If they like it, they can buy it. If they don't want it, they don't have to buy it.
Because there is a big choice here. I mean, you yourself have said in the past that the EU approach prizes history and tradition over innovation and science, and you've called it a kind of museum form of farming. And you've slightly poo-pooed British worries about chlorinated chicken and GMO foods and so on.
Not poo-pooing it, but even the EU has taken a position on things like chlorinated chicken and said the American food supply is as safe as anything in Europe. So it's not really poo-pooing, but that was probably the most interesting public relations campaign to ban American products that I've seen. I mean, if we could put that in reverse, we'd all make a lot of money.
So you said it's a public safety no-brainer. It's completely safe to eat.
Completely safe.
And do you think British people have to accept that as part of the deal?
No, I don't think they have to accept it. They, once again, can have a choice. Whether they want we have 5 million British people coming over to the U.S. every year, and I've never heard one complaint about anything to do with chicken.
Okay. So the other big area, as you know, is the healthcare service. There's a great deal of fondness and enthusiasm for the NHS in this country, and a lot of people are worried that a big free trade deal with America means American pharmaceutical and medical corporations getting a slice of the NHS.
Oh, I don't think they'd be put in any particular position regarding that. And your national healthcare service is the pride of the country, and everybody has a highly emotionally charged issue. I think it's all going to be.
Do you feel that healthcare has to be part of the deal?
I think probably the entire economy would, in a trade deal, all things that are traded would be on the table,
which includes healthcare.
I would think so.